Good evening, this is Brastax. I'm Zaka Jacob. Rahul Gandhi was sentenced to a 2-year imprisonment in the Modi surname defamation case. Back in 2019, Rahul Gandhi had said, "Kya sab Modi chor hote hain?" Purnesh Modi, a former Gujarat legislator, took Mr. Gandhi to court for defamation, and today the court found him guilty and sentenced him to 2 years in prison. What is of immediate concern to Rahul Gandhi is his MP status, because previous Supreme Court rulings suggest that upon conviction, MPs can be immediately disqualified. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has 30 days' time to challenge his verdict in an appellate court. In this case, it will be a sessions court. Is the law finally catching up with Rahul Gandhi for what he said of not just one individual whose surname is Modi, but for an entire community? Or is this, as the Congress party is alleging, plain and simple political vendetta? We'll get to all of that and more in just a moment, but first, the story of what happened in a court in Surat today.
Guilty of defamation. That is the latest setback to Rahul Gandhi. A court in Gujarat sentenced him to 2 years in prison for this remark against Prime Minister Modi back in 2019.
एक छोटा सा सवाल, इन सब के नाम, इन सब चोरों के नाम मोदी 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 कैसे हैं? नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, और अभी थोड़ा ढूंढेंगे तो और बहुत सारे मोदी निकलेंगे.
Rahul Gandhi, who was present in a Surat court for the verdict today, was granted bail and his sentence was suspended for 30 days to let him appeal the decision. But a defiant Rahul Gandhi said he will continue to speak the truth, while his party alleged that it's a sign of a rattled regime.
केसेस को थोपकर आवाज को रोकना, बंद करना, डराना, धमकाना, ये प्रक्रिया ये सरकार भिन्न रूप से कर रही है.
Day in and day out, they are burning the midnight oil to implicate Rahul Gandhi on false charges so that Rahul Gandhi's membership could be abrogated from now.
The BJP said Rahul Gandhi is facing the consequences of his own actions and words.
राहुल जी को इस सच्चाई को स्वीकार करना चाहिए कि शब्दों की चोट शस्त्रों की चोट से ज्यादा गहरी और पीड़ादायी होती है.
Shri Rahul Gandhi defies and disrespects every democratic institution, whether it is parliament or the judiciary.
Minutes after the court order, Congress workers hit the streets in multiple cities across the country, protesting against Rahul Gandhi's conviction.
Youth Congress workers have taken out a protest march outside Raj Bhavan here in Thiruvananthapuram. The slogans that they raised here is that no apologies, no bowing down to power. A true Gandhi shall keep fighting for truth.
When Rahul Gandhi returned to Delhi from Surat in the evening, Congress workers gave him a hero's welcome. Ahead of the Lok Sabha elections in 2024, Rahul Gandhi's conviction is important for both the BJP and Congress. So is it a question of vindication or vendetta?
All right, so now that Rahul Gandhi has been found guilty by this court in Surat, what is likely to happen next? Now, one scenario is that the Lok Sabha Speaker, Om Birla, can begin disqualification proceedings against Rahul Gandhi. Or even if the Speaker chooses not to, any member of Parliament can urge the Speaker, more representation with the Speaker, to disqualify Rahul Gandhi in light of today's verdict. Now, this scenario comes into play unless Rahul Gandhi's lawyers are able to get the conviction by a lower court today stayed by a higher court. But till the conviction is stayed, the sword of disqualification hangs over Rahul Gandhi's head. If the verdict is not stayed or cancelled by a higher court, then Rahul Gandhi will also not be allowed to contest elections. And this is going to be for the next 8 years, because the law says that a person who is disqualified for the period of imprisonment, in this case 2 years, plus another 6 years. So 2 plus 6 for 8 years, Rahul Gandhi, unless a higher court overturns this verdict, will be disqualified from contesting elections. Now, the question and the moot question is, can Rahul Gandhi actually be disqualified as a member of parliament? Yes, if his sentence is not suspended, if the conviction is not stayed by an appellate court in the next 30 days, then Section 8, Subclause 3 of the Representation of People's Act 1951 says that the moment a member of parliament is convicted of any offence and sentenced for at least 2 years, they attract immediate disqualification. So then, he will be disqualified from the Lok Sabha, which also means that he won't be able to contest the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. But if he manages to get the conviction stayed by a higher court, then he will be able to challenge any disqualification proceedings. He will also be able to fight the Lok Sabha elections next year. Essentially, nothing will happen to Rahul Gandhi until an appeal is decided if he manages to get a stay on the conviction. So Mr. Gandhi's disqualification will kick in after a month because right now the sentence has been suspended for 30 days. He's got bail for 30 days, giving him time to approach a higher court. And like I said, very clearly, he needs to be able to get a higher court to give him a stay on the conviction. Right now, what has been stayed is not the conviction, only a suspension of the sentence. Now, this has to be from an appellate court, so in this case, it has to be a sessions court, and that too within a period of 30 days. He can also move the Supreme Court under a special leave petition. Rahul Gandhi could seek relief under Article 32 of the Constitution, which gives any individual the right to move the Supreme Court directly to seek justice if they feel that their right has been unduly deprived. There is also another bone of contention, and this happens to be over Section 8, Subclause 4 of the Representation of People's Act. This particular section gives an MP or MLA 3 months after conviction where they cannot be disqualified. Now, in 2005, a constitution bench of the Supreme Court had upheld the reasoning for Section 8, Subclause 4 for MPs and MLAs to be covered under this exception. But then, in 2013, a division bench of the Supreme Court struck down Section 8, Subclause 4 as unconstitutional. Basically, the Supreme Court ruled in that case that any lawmaker, including MPs, will have to immediately and necessarily lose their membership if they are convicted for a minimum of 2 years. There can't be any exception for members of parliament or members of legislative assembly. So now there is an ongoing debate over the correct legal position, something that Rahul Gandhi could also cite when he decides to go in appeal against today's verdict. Now, here's the irony. In 2013, right after this verdict came from a 2-judge bench of the Supreme Court, the then Congress-led UPA government under Manmohan Singh had tried to overturn that 2013 judgment. They tried to retain Section 8, Subclause 4 of the Representation of People's Act, which basically said that lawmakers could not be disqualified for 3 months even if they were convicted, so as to enable an opportunity for them to try and appeal against that order. But famously, Rahul Gandhi in 2013 at the Press Club of India here in Delhi had called that ordinance utter nonsense, and he tore up that ordinance. Now, the irony is that 10 years later, Rahul Gandhi himself will be up for disqualification because he's been sentenced to 2 years prison term, and had he backed that ordinance which was brought by the Manmohan Singh government, he wouldn't have had to face the Damocles sword that is hanging over his head today. Just getting in a piece of breaking news, after which we'll go to our guest, Rahul Gandhi's conviction. Now, after that, the Congress party is busy trying to rally the opposition around this issue. At 10 a.m. tomorrow, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge has called for a meeting of all opposition parties. At 11:30 a.m., Congress MPs have decided that they will march to Vijay Chowk. And then on Monday, all Congress MPs and MLAs across the country will be protesting, not just in Delhi, but also, like I said, in cities across India. So the Congress party is hoping that this will become a fresh rallying point around Rahul Gandhi. Of course, he has been berated by the BJP for the comments that he made in London recently, and now the Congress is hoping that this becomes yet another galvanizing point, if you will. Let me now go across to our guests, and we've got a full panel tonight on Brass Tacks. Shehzad Poonawala is BJP national spokesperson here in our studios. Dr. Ajay Kumar, Congress Party spokesperson. Ajay Umat is group editor with Nav Gujarat Samay. Siddharth Luthra is former additional Solicitor General at the Supreme Court. Ishkaran Bandari, lawyer and political analyst. And Rashid Kidwai, author and senior journalist, also joining us. Let me start with you, Shehzad Poonawala. First things first, this is a political attack that Rahul Gandhi made. He made an attack saying, Kya sab Modi chor hote hain, clearly intended at Narendra Modi. I don't think him or any of us would have heard of Mr. Purnesh Modi even before this case came up. So the point is, for a political attack, if politicians are going to be sent to jail in criminal defamation cases, then politicians won't be allowed to say anything.
Zaka, I don't think 9 p.m. on your channel and your debate should be the forum where we should discuss the merits of the case. The court has already come to a conclusion, and these arguments like you're making were made in all earnestness by Rahul Gandhi's lawyers, and they made it perhaps even more forcefully. But the court has judged that in one person's virod, you can't end up doing the virod or the defamation of an entire Samaj. The Modi community happens to be a Ghanchi Samaj of OBC Samaj, and perhaps members of that community felt offended by the statements. They used legal recourse, and they have now been able to get a conviction. So I think we must move on from that, and we must come to 2 or 3 important points. First, Rahul Gandhi is a serial and a habitual offender towards making these statements. He had to apologize to the Supreme Court for the statements he made on Rafale. We all know he demanded foreign intervention on foreign soil. We've seen the statements he's made, the loose statements he's made about Hindus going and, who go to Mandir actually go and molest women. He has said things about how Hindutva is actually teaching violence against certain communities. He's made all kinds of statements even about Pulwama and Chinese wanting harmony. So he's a habitual offender. A court has found him guilty. Unless the Congress party tonight is saying that courts are acting on vendetta or are trying to become the handmaiden of a particular government, and I believe Mr. Chandrachud just in a recent program said that the courts function independent of any pressure from the executive, I think we should not make it a thing that now it is conditional commitment towards the constitution. And fine, secondly, look, Rahul Gandhi had torn up the ordinance once. If Rahul Gandhi's own standards of morality are that people who have been convicted for 2 years or above should be out of parliament, why doesn't he walk the talk today? He has been convicted. And just let me correct you on one technical point. You said that till 1 month it will not operate, the disqualification. Only sentence apparently in the judgment has been stayed. Unless there's a stay on conviction, because in a 2018 Supreme Court order, which has upheld the 2013 order, it has clarified that unless the conviction is stayed, the disqualification kicks in automatically after the Lily Thomas judgment, and therefore as of anybody's legal reading, and we have Ishkaran Bhandari to elaborate, as of now automatically Rahul Gandhi stands disqualified.
No, two things there. One, I did say that the conviction has to be stayed. As of today, only the sentence has been suspended.
So I don't think he has the opportunity for 1 month.
No, it doesn't automatically kick in. The Speaker's office has to send out a letter saying so-and-so has been disqualified.
Perhaps. But he does not have a period of 1 month.
I'm on a larger point. Let me ask Dr. Ajay Kumar this. Essentially what the BJP is saying is 2 things. Mr. Gandhi in 2013 tore up this very ordinance which would have given him some protection or at least interim relief, if you will, given the situation that he's facing today. So if he's taken that position in 2013, he should take that same position in 2023, all the more so for himself. And secondly, this is basic. The law of the land should apply for anyone. Rahul Gandhi, just like any other citizen of this country, is not above the law. A court of law has found him guilty. He has legal avenues, legal recourses. Let him exercise those. But he should respect the judgment of the court.
So first of all, Zaka, I mean, if I heard Mr. Poonawalla say serial offender and habitual offender, the kind of words they use, I mean, we would like to, if Mr. Gandhi is a serial offender, what about the BJP's whole ministers? They are serial trollers, including the Prime Minister denigrates the first Prime Minister, uses the Nehru surname left, right and center. The kind of statement Prime Minister makes कि हमको शर्म आती थी जब हम विदेश जाते थे कि हम भारत के हैं. So let's not get into how and then continue to deal in half truths and lies, saying and serious. I mean, the kind of statements they make on political leaders. I mean, this is a debate which we are having. So I would request Azad Puna, let's not denigrate, because it's not that we can't say nonsense about Mr. Modi. We can do it very easily and start making very below the belt remarks. Our decency prevents it, because I find it very difficult to reach to the level Mr. Poonawalla seems to reach at every debate. So I will resist saying anything against any political leader, because that's not my style. Nor I don't think that we should be, and none of us should do it. The most important part. Have you ever heard a complainant go to a high court and stay his own legal proceedings? You're saying let's believe in the judiciary. Let's believe in the judiciary. Why is Kiran Rijiju's cabinet minister insulting the judiciary morning and evening every day? 24/7. Every time they make statements on the judiciary, and suddenly they got so much of belief in the judiciary. It's like the devil preaching the scriptures.
No, Dr. Kumar, are you saying? I just want to go back to one of the points you made. You're saying that Mr. Gandhi will not go to an appellate court seeking a stay on his conviction. Is that what you're saying?
No. You're not understanding. Mr. Punesh Modi went to the High Court of Gujarat and stopped his own proceedings because he was thinking that the judge is going to do his job well, and suddenly the judge strangely gets transferred. Those are questions which you must ask on your channel. And then he goes back and again requests again for his stay to be removed when the judge is transferred. So if you are a citizen of this country and you are saying that high standards of judiciary and we believe in judiciary, there are a couple of things which the BJP should immediately stop. First of all, sack Mr. Rijiju. Because if you believe in the judiciary so much, then he's like a motor mouth, keeps speaking every time on, he said retired judges should not do this, you shouldn't do this, he shouldn't do that, and has made umpteen comments. And if Mr. Punawala is keen, then I can show him
that would apply to you as well, right? I mean, today a court of law has given an order, so you should respect it as much as you expect anyone else to respect it.
One sec. Yeah, Zaka, speaking against the judgment is not disrespect. First question.
Sure.
Speaking, you can continuously find faults in the judgment without finding a mistake. You can say that the judges have heard. We are saying it that in a defamation case, none of the parties who are offended have become a complainant in this case. The event happens in Kolar. Surat, the case is registered. The judge gets transferred. First of all, the proceedings get stayed by the High Court. Judge gets
fair enough. Let me open this up. Let me open this up to our other guests.
A couple of points.
Let me go to everyone and I'll come back to you. Ajay Umar, look, I'm very clear. I don't think the end of this debate is going to be settled through the legal means or through courts. This is a political debate. It has opened up a political position both for BJP as well as for Rahul Gandhi and the Congress Party. I'm on a larger fundamental issue, and that is that and many lawyers have been arguing this since afternoon, since this verdict came out as well, that for one individual to take another person to court for criminal defamation saying he has insulted an entire society or a community, he has to be able to demonstrably show that the said individual was the one who was referred to. Now, clearly, when Mr. Gandhi said whatever he said, that sab Modi chor hote hai kya, he was referring to Narendra Modi. He was certainly not referring to Purnesh Modi. Ajay Umar. Can Ajay Umar hear me?
Asking me?
Yeah, Ajay, yeah, go on.
Yeah, same thing Rahul Gandhi said in his argument, and today also in court, when judge said that you are convicted, Rahul Gandhi said that, मैं आपके पास दया की भीख या माफी नहीं मांगता हूं, मैं सिर्फ यही कहना चाहता हूं कि मैं हिंदुस्तान के लोगों को प्यार करता हूं, और मैंने जो कहा था वो सरनेम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कहा था, समुदाय के लिए नहीं कहा था. And he said that, Mr. Purnesh Modi is saying that, 13 crore Modi समाज के लोग, which includes, Rathod, Gupta, Taili, Modi, Ghachi, Chaudhary, Das, Chettiar, Sahu. He said, you think that a politician would afford to dishearten so many people? He said, I have never done this. But I tell you, Zaka, interesting thing, people in Surat and BJP in Gujarat have started new narrative that now next chance is of Tejasvi Yadav, because yesterday Tejasvi Yadav has also made a similar kind of statement saying this, that all Gujaratis are fraudster type thing. उन्होंने जो statement कहा है उसके लिए they said that Rahul Gandhi is certainly going to lose his membership in parliament. This is what talk of the town in Gujarat, and they said now next chance is of Tejasvi Yadav, because somebody from Gujarat will file another case against Mr. Tejasvi Yadav on the same line, because he has also insulted with his derogatory remark against a Gujarati, against all Gujarati community.
Okay, so let me ask Siddharth Luthra again on the legal point. What is the position now? One part is, of course, Mr. Gandhi has legal recourses in further appellate courts, but does his membership of parliament get automatically revoked? Does the speaker automatically revoke his membership of parliament? Because that's what the 2013 Supreme Court judgment says, that there is no window or there is no interim relief period before the membership is cancelled.
In fact, I must tell you, I appeared in the 2013 Lily Thomas case for the government, and we were not successful in defending Section 8.4. So the effect of the striking down of the provision is that the constitutional provision obviously takes precedence, and the disqualification happens at the time of conviction. The formal disqualification formality is done by the speaker in this case, issuing a communication that this has happened. So that's the administrative part of the process. But as on today, the disqualification takes place, except the formality has to be done. That formal removal has to be done. Now, what the Lily Thomas and what the 2018 Lok Prahari judgment elaborate on, and Lok Prahari judgment elaborates this to say that the disqualification will happen, but if the individual approaches an appellate court and gets a stay of the conviction. Today there is only a stay, a suspension, a bail pending for the filing of appeal. But if the stay of conviction is granted to an individual who is convicted and of the offences under Section 8, then the disqualification cannot continue. So that is the important part to be noted. Most people assume that once the disqualification takes place, it will stay there forever and it can't be stopped. But the fact of the matter is that there is that window which is clarified in the Lok Prahari judgment, and that's something which is to be determined once the appeal is filed. The remedies will have to be taken by Mr. Gandhi's lawyers, and they will have to try and make out a case not just for stay of suspension of sentence, but for stay of conviction, which has been done in the past.
Okay.
In Navjot Sidhu's case, though when Sanjay Dutt sought it, it was not granted. I'm told Hardik Patel also tried. He also did not get it. So these have to be determined on the facts of the case. The fact that it's a maximum sentence, it's a defamation, all these elements, the nature of the evidence, the nature of the allegations, all of these elements will come in on a determination, and of course the prejudice that is caused to the individual. All these elements will have to be considered by the court determining the matter.
I want to ask Ishkaran Bhandari, how easy or difficult would that be to try and get a stay on a conviction? As Mr. Luthra said a moment ago, this is, of course, the maximum punishment under this section 499 and 500 of the IPC. Also, Rahul Gandhi, the sentence has been suspended, but not the conviction. And appellate courts have been loath to suspend conviction unless, of course, there is overwhelming evidence to the contrary. In this case, is there such overwhelming evidence? Can Rahul Gandhi's lawyers demonstrably show that no hurt was caused to an entire community or one individual in this community?
See, Zaka, in this case, one thing we should be very clear, it's not usual that you get a stay on conviction. In fact, it's very rare.
Yeah.
Bail is a different aspect altogether. So getting a stay on conviction, it has to be extraordinary grounds. But let us come to 2-3 facts of this case. One is, Mr. Rahul Gandhi always had the option of challenging even the summoning order in higher court. So I do not know whether he challenged those orders in higher court, Supreme Court, as the case may be. That is where the trial proceeded. So when we sit here and we discuss that judges were transferred in a 4-year period, it is likely a judge will be transferred, and they know well that a judge is not transferred by the government. A High Court judge is transferred, we know how, and a District Court judge is transferred by the Honorable High Court.
No, the point that Dr. Ajay Kumar made, Ishkaran, he's saying that the complainant went to a higher court saying transfer the judge. That's the allegation he's making.
So then they would have had a chance to rebut that. So what proceedings which have already occurred, let us not question those proceedings on the aspect of bias, at least judicial bias is all I'm saying. Because they had all the remedies to go to higher court, even if an order of transfer is, if I've understood it correctly, that an order of transfer was passed on a petition by the complainant, they had the option of challenging it in the Supreme Court. So let us be very clear on that. Now, as things stand, anyways, let us come back to that, because I find it unfortunate on either side to raise allegations on the judges and their bias, because daily these orders come. But on the other aspect of this, which is very important, is now, as if things stand today, Rahul Gandhi is in deep trouble unless he manages to convince the Superior Court that the conviction itself should be stayed, which is not something which happens every day, which does not happen very easily. Of course, he will have to make grounds for that and get it done.
Okay. So let me ask Rashid Kidwai. Again, I keep going back to this. This is less a legal story. We can all get, carried away by the legal nitty-gritties. Ultimately, this is a political story. And here again, I'm loath to understand, why doesn't Mr. Gandhi, if the politician in him wanted to make this a sort of rallying point for himself or for the Congress party or for the opposition, he should have gone back to court and said, please cancel my bail, please put me in jail. And after all, you know this, Rashid, as well as anybody does, that politicians who go to jail become far bigger when they come out than they were when they go in. I mean, I can cite any number of instances from Indira Gandhi to Jayalalitha.
I think, Zaka, we must remember 2-3 things. First of all, I'm not talking about the legal aspect, I'm talking about the political aspect. I think Rahul Gandhi and the Congress is aware that the BJP would make an attempt to disqualify him. tomorrow, unless of course the Congress goes to Supreme Court and gets some kind of legal injection or so. The second part is, as we have seen in case of Azam Khan case, it was very clear. The BJP, so there is a total trust deficit or lack of political decency takes two to tango.
I want to come in here.
I
Just one second,
understand
Mr.
that,
Luthra,
the Congress is also as violated that. So it's not that it's not a political decency is not a one-way street. This is what happened. It's Rahul Gandhi's moment to make a political capital, and I think he'll go ahead because the opposition. You look at today, Aam Aadmi Party's response. The opposition has been looking for a kind of legal unity in the sense that to come around on this aspect that the politicians of various hue and shade which belong to the opposition umbrella are targeted. And this is the kind of
Rashid, we haven't heard anything from Mamata Banerjee. We haven't heard from other opposition parties. I mean, those who are part of the traditional UPA alliance, the DMKs and the NCPs, they have said stuff. AAP being one exception. I haven't heard anything from Akhilesh Yadav and the Samajwadi Party. I haven't heard anything from Mayawati or the BSP. So to say that the same Rahul Gandhi, as you said in one of our shows a few weeks ago, he's the biggest hindrance to opposition unity.
So
why should we believe that this case or this verdict will suddenly rally the opposition around him?
No, I think the BJP wants that. BJP wants 2024 election to be Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi.
Okay.
And all this, I'm leaving out the legal part. The politically speaking, this is all a pointer in that direction. And it's putting, a cat among pigeons. And you're rightly pointing out that Samajwadi Party and Mamata, etc. But this is what's going to happen. They'll be forced to rally behind Rahul Gandhi. Probably, I mean, we do not know. And this is how it will play out. And here you'll have a reluctant politician. And so it's a opportunity for everyone.
That's an interesting hypothesis. I'll get Shehzad to respond to that. But I think Mr. Luthra wanted to come in on a point. Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify, it's a bailable offense. He had a right to get bail. So, the fact is, it's not that the magistrate has exercised any discretion. Sure. The man has to just say, look, I want to file an appeal, file a bail. So let's understand. And therefore, even when the appeal is filed, bail will be granted. That's a matter of course. The issue is only this. What happens when the stay of conviction is granted? That's a moot point, and I think it's better because we don't know the merits of the case to leave it to the concerned appellate judge, which is a session judge, to decide.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ishkaran made that point. Stays on convictions are very, very hard to get by. But anyway, let me ask Shehzad this.
Not necessarily. I don't agree on that.
Okay.
They do happen. It's not that they don't happen.
Let's leave the legal aspect aside. Politically, the point that Rashid is making is this suits you because it is in your interest to make 2024 Modi versus Rahul, because you know that if it's Modi versus Rahul, Rahul does not stand a chance. But if it's Modi versus Mamata or Modi versus Kejriwal, that is a little more of an unknown terrain, as it were, as opposed to Modi versus Rahul. So this suits you to make Rahul Gandhi bigger than who he is, so that the rest of the opposition does not have a choice but to rally around him.
Zaka, just be patient with my answer because you asked me a question in the political domain. First of all, Zaka, we are not winning elections just by defeating the Congress party. Let's be very clear, we fight the Congress party on 180 odd seats where we are head to head. And of course, we thrashed the Congress party on those 180 seats in 2014 and 2019. But the remaining bulk of the 350 plus seats, we contest against all these other parties. Take a look at all these states. West Bengal, we are the number 2 party. We had no existence 5 years ago. Tripura, we are the number 1 party now in the northeast. You can look at Odisha, we are the number 2 party. In Andhra, we are the number 2 party. In Kerala, by doing their Kushti Dosti, alternatively, we are fast becoming this number 2 party in Kerala. Even the priests there are supporting us. In Telangana, we are the number 2 party. So we have now risen under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi as a dominant force, and we have defeated all these third parties only. In Uttar Pradesh, whom have we won against? In Maharashtra, whom have we won against? In Northeast, whom have we won against? So it is not that Congress is convenient to us. Congress is actually convenient to these people. Let me explain how. Aam Aadmi Party has come up on the entire plank of anti-corruption. Today it is Bhrashtachar mein main tera bhaichara, Rahul ka bane Arvind Sahara. I mean, look at the political U-turn that these people are taking. These people find it convenient to hug Congress one day and to abuse Congress the other day. They must clarify and tell us what is their position. And as far as political decency is concerned, your party, Congress party, is a party which called Prime Minister Hitler, said Modi ki kabr khudegi, and the Congress party is the one in 1975 that wanted a committed judiciary, and what they did with H.R. Khanna Sahab, what they did with judges like Mr. Beg and Mr. Baharul Islam. We have political and legal experts on this panel. Let me not open my mouth, Mr. Ajoy Kumar. But finally, coming back to a point, Lalu Prasad, the moment he was convicted, he was disqualified. Abdullah Azam Khan, moment convicted, disqualified. Rashid Masood, their own MP, convicted, disqualified. Why must there be a separate law for Rahul Gandhi?
Okay.
Who is Rahul Gandhi? And I am asking on a moral pedestal today that the man who tears up the ordinance and even insults Sardar Manmohan Singh, today, where is his own convictions and conscience?
So, Dr. Ajay Kumar, if Abdullah Azam Khan can be disqualified forthwith, members of your own party can be disqualified forthwith, Lalu Prasad Yadav was disqualified forthwith, why should the law not be applicable in same measure to Rahul Gandhi?
So, let me answer politically. You see, the arrogance and political facts on the ground first for Shehzadji. Whenever the opposition has got around together, and Bihar is a good example, and the rest of the people, so how much you might keep propagating that you're beating people and all that, the data doesn't show it. You won only 33% of the votes. In Tripura, you came down from 53% to 33%. So the fact is that you're able to play this game a little better doesn't mean you're winning votes. You're losing votes, and I don't deny that the factor of the opposition unity is a factor. And that is why they're targeting the opposition leaders, so that you don't make opposition unity. They got 33% votes, and their arrogance of 67% can vote for them. And most of the places...
Sir, but that 33% votes makes for 303 seats. What do you do about that?
No, I know that. And that's why I'm coming to Zaka. Please,
okay, go on, yeah.
Zaka, I request you, please don't
sure.
last time, so again, I'm requesting you as a friend.
Sure.
The second part is, that is what the fundamental issue is. The issue is the index of opposition unity. It is a fact. We can't walk away from it. We need to get act in place. That's a different issue. But the arrogance that you get 30% of the vote share and say that you got 300 seats, yes. That is why they are targeting the opposition leaders one by one, because they're scared of that. And how do you become second in Telangana based on MLA votes? I don't understand this. How do you become second in Andhra still? I mean, in terms of vote share and all. Telugu Desam, I thought was second, but Mr. Poonawalla seems to know more than me on, or there's a new equation in town where you can say anything on national TV and you can get away with it. But let me be honest, Telugu Desam was the second party, my understanding, not the BJP. Telangana, the Congress was second.
No, but answer my question, Afsab. Answer my question.
No, one sec. No, second, no, the important part. One of the panelists, I apologize, the name skips. I didn't say that the judge was request was for transfer. The complainant went and stayed the case in the High Court, requesting that the case should not proceed. And when the judge got transferred, then he again went back to the High Court and said, now you can proceed with the case. That is bizarre. That is a strange case that needs for investigative journalists like Zaka Jacob to have a look at it. The third point is, if we get disqualified, we'll take it into the people's court. That's a part of life. But you must understand.
When you say you will go to the people's court, I want to know. I mean, will Mamata Banerjee also follow you into the people's court? Will Arvind Kejriwal follow you into the people's court?
So why you? No, one second.
Akhilesh Yadav, Mayawati, they all.
Others, no. So, Zaka, I'm quite zapped out with, there's a year left for the elections. These things happen. How did 77 happen? How do different alliances happen? How did the RJD and the Congress and the JDU came together? The question is, it is very easy for you to say that will it happen or not happen and all. If it happens, the BJP is getting wiped out. That is a political fact.
Okay.
You may walk away from, the BJP is going to wipe. So, with 33%, the kind of arrogance they are walking around as if they're the new sheriff in town is not only laughable, shameful.
Okay,
it's a democracy.
Ajay Umar, and I said this, one second, I said this in 2019 and I'll say this again. If 2024, and I don't believe that the entire opposition will rally around one party or one leader, I think it will be a divided opposition that will take on Mr. Modi in 2024. But even if they do rally around one leader or one party, I think, and Ajay Umar can correct me because he's seen the Modi electoral playbook, as it were, for the last 20 years, Mr. Modi and the BJP will make this as one against everyone else. As he said in Parliament a few weeks ago, ek akela sab pe bhari. That's his playbook. And whether you like it or not, Ajay Umar, that does have resonance among a significant section of the electorate.
Yeah, definitely. Modi is attacking, opposition unity index, and we see that, different blocks are there, whether it is Mamata Banerjee and Akhilesh Yadav and Patnaik, and on the other side, we see Kejriwal and KCR. I am sure that, BJP is, doing a lot of groundwork in Gujarat. They have started working for Lok Sabha 2024, and they have booth management, they have everything. So BJP is working very, very hard. And Zaka, another thing that, let me be very honest, I and you have seen many defamation cases. I personally feel that Congress party has botched up their, strategy also how to fight in court. We have seen that, if any...
Why do you say that? Why do you say that, Ajay? What did they do wrong?
You go to the High Court and, you file 482 for causing and all such things. But, no such... Everybody treated this case, like poor Cinderella in Gujarat, and nobody was bothered, and Rahul Gandhi was, very promptly attending all the hearings. Generally, I have seen a defamation case will continue for 10 to 12 years. And in this case, within 4 years, we see the judgment. That means, they didn't play their cards also very well.
Okay, they didn't play their cards well. Just give me 1 second. Let me get Mr. Luthra. Fair enough. I'll give you a chance to. Mr. Luthra, I think there's a larger question that needs to be asked, and that is on this whole business of criminal defamation. Again, this goes back to a British era law, 499 and 500 of the IPC. There were attempts, I believe, Subramaniam Swamy at one point of time, I think even Arvind Kejriwal at one point of time had gone to the Supreme Court, challenging this very provision in the statutory books. Is it time for us to take a relook at criminal defamation? Yeah.
So a few years back in Mr. Subramaniam Swamy's petition, the legitimacy, the constitutional validity of criminal defamation was upheld by a two-judge bench headed by Justice Deepak Mishra, as I recall. Now, the issue is today that is a valid law, and unless this matter gets referred to a larger bench or in a new set of matters and reconsidered, today it is valid. It's a different matter whether we should at all have criminal defamation in our legislation. That's a separate debate for a separate day. But we can't shy away from the fact that it is a recourse an individual can have. And there is, of course, a viewpoint where people believe that perhaps criminal defamation is a more effective recourse than civil defamation, where suits may drag on for years together. But there's a point to be made, and that's something which one of the speakers said, and that's an interesting point. In fact, two of them said that normally one finds that defamation cases are challenged at different stages. You challenge it at the summoning stage, you challenge at the notice stage, and these matters play out in a certain manner. But this has been a fairly fast and effective trial now. That's a compliment perhaps to the judiciary in Gujarat. But the other factor is on the legal strategy, and that's something which I would rather not comment about, because that's something, perhaps it's a conscious decision or perhaps not. But let's leave it to see, let's see how this thing plays out in the future.
Okay, Ishkaran, just to take this point forward, and I think I am curious to know about this larger debate on whether we should have criminal defamation in this country, because I keep coming back to this. This is a political attack by one opposition politician against the ruling party and the head of the ruling party. If we are going to do criminal defamation for that, then politicians are going to be constrained by what they can and cannot say in public life.
Zaka, I was a counsel in the case when we were trying to set aside criminal defamation. And I, as a personal individual, opinion is very clear that laws restricting free speech, be it criminal defamation, be it 66A, which Congress brought, and frankly, BJP also supported when it was being challenged, the government changes, because at a broad level, every government likes to enjoy the power to restrict the speech of the citizenry. That is my view of how I see all these laws. But interestingly, in that case, if I recall correctly, Mr. Rahul Gandhi also impleaded himself. That case, which was being argued, it was not only Mr. Kejriwal, Mr. Rahul Gandhi also impleaded, and some other journalists also impleaded. But the Supreme Court felt in its wisdom that this law needs to be on the statute books, because one of the reasons is in civil trials in India, you know how they proceed, and there are not sufficient damages, etc., etc. Whatever that may be, it was upheld as constitutional. That is the law of the land. Everybody has to follow the law of the land. And I made the point when I spoke first that interestingly we don't have enough data to know, or we don't have enough knowledge to know in this case, were these summoning orders challenged in High Court, Supreme Court? Because that's usually the procedure most councils follow.
All right.
So that is very interesting why that wasn't done if it wasn't done.
Shehzad, to respond to what Dr. Ajay Kumar said.
Couple of points. First of all, I know the doctor comes with full research, but in Telangana, sir, we have more MPs than your party and we have a greater vote share. We won 4 MP seats, you won 3. I don't know why you're saying this. And as far as the 33% he has a bone to pick with, sir, we've always been a first past the post system. I don't think Mr. Nehru or Ms. Indira Gandhi ever secured more than 50% of the vote. So when you win with less than 50% of the vote, it is suddenly all India supporting you. And when we on the same platform, by the way, the UPA 2 always secured, UPA 1 and UPA 2 secured much lesser vote when you came to power. So, don't delegitimize the first past the post system or otherwise change that system. Now, thirdly, look, how are we attacking opposition unity? Even before this conviction, what was Mamata Banerjee's statement about Rahul Gandhi? She passed a virtual vote of no confidence saying that Rahul se nahi ho payega. Akhilesh Yadav has said this. Sharad Pawar has said it in another way, maybe more softly, saying that zamindari chin gayi, but abhi bhi they behave like zamindars. Every party which is vaicharik with them, those who are ideologically connected with them, have been passing these vote of no confidences against Rahul Gandhi's leadership time and again. And the Congress party itself plays opportunistic politics. When it comes to Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain, they are saying very good the ED has taken action. When it comes to their own set of leaders, they say very bad they've taken action. So what have we to do with opposition unity? And just a word on this criminal defamation business. Look, if we are going down the path of what chills free speech, then the Congress party should be the last party advising us. The kind of chilling actions they've taken on free speech, including putting dozens and thousands of cases, kicking out journalists, putting censorship on the media, and toying with the idea of free speech during the emergency, I don't think they are in a position to lecture us. The Supreme Court's
I think Rashid, I'll give Rashid the final word. Like I said, I'm convinced that this is going to be politically played out. How do you see? I'll come to you, Dr. Ajay. Just give 30 seconds to Rashid. How do you see this? How do you see this playing out in the political battlefield, as it were? I'm still I'm finding it hard to believe that all opposition will rally around Rahul Gandhi just because of this case or whatever else has been happening over the last 3-4 months of what he has said and the response from the opposition and from the ruling government to that. Rashid.
Zaka, I think March 23rd would, it has set a stage for 2024. Whatever happens now will be all that build up. The fact that there is a fair amount of glee, again I'm saying on the political aspect of Mr. Rahul Gandhi being, almost being disqualified, etc., that tells you that the BJP is also politically not very confident of 2024 because it wants to, frame Rahul Gandhi again politically and think that because Rahul Gandhi will become a rallying point.
No, but Rashid, if he is disqualified, then how does it become Modi versus Rahul in 2024? He can't stand.
No, it's not. Look, there are no full stops in the legal recourse. It's not a thing. The case, I said again, I keep repeating, I don't want to go into the merit of the legal case. Okay. But the legal case has its own infirmities, which the Congress lawyers are going to highlight in the court of law. But I'm saying, even if Rahul Gandhi is temporarily disqualified, remember in the last year of elections, it happens. A lot of things happen. We saw what happened in 1988-89 time. A lot of MPs had resigned, opposition MPs had resigned.
All right.
So
Dr. Ajay, I have 1 minute, please. I have to wrap up after that. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The important part is, Mr. Gandhi or the Congress has not said that we are going to be he's going to be the face of the opposition. So first question is, the BJP is so scared of him that they keep propagating it. The important part, and we realize it politically, if Aam Aadmi Party gave a statement in support of us today, are they joining the alliance? So if Mamata spoke against us, are they not joining the alliance? How do you all know? And 1 week is a long time in politics. I want to just make it very clear. It's a homework for the opposition to do. But if the opposition unites, you will wipe out the BJP in this country from every state. That's a fact.
So I don't know what is stopping you then. I don't know what is stopping you then.
One second. Zaka, please don't. You see, again, you're trolling me. So I request you don't do it.
Sir, I'm not trolling you. I'm just asking a question, that's all.
Because you don't stop. No, my friend, you don't stop others and you continue to do this
go
to
on,
me.
go on. Finish. I got to wrap up. I said 1 minute, now I'm down to 30 seconds.
So let me finish. So my question is, things will happen. Don't get overexcited before time, my friend Zaka.
Okay.
When things started happening, suddenly a week is a long time in politics. A year is very, very long time in politics.
Okay.
And believe me, they will be wiped out if we are able to unite. And that's a challenge which we recognize.
All
It's
right.
not the challenge you seem to know or I don't know or Shahzad
Okay,
Poonawalla doesn't
look,
understand.
I'm
Thank
the
you so
last
much.
one to claim that I know better than politicians. It's your business. I'm completely out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah.
And no, the self-serving, yes, your
if
analysis
only
will get
wishes
wiped
were
out.
horses. All right, I'm going to take a break. Thank you very much to all our guests.
Thank
but like I
you.
said, this ultimately, I don't think is going to be settled in the courts. It's going to be settled in the court of people's opinion, and that's where the Congress under Mr. Gandhi has to decide how they want to play this issue. And of course, for the BJP, they're coming out all guns blazing, saying the law of the land as it stands today should apply to Rahul Gandhi with equal force as it applies to any one of us. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, Karnataka BJP's new campaign over the killers of Tipu Sultan, that is now facing backlash, not just from the Congress and the JDS, but also a prominent actor has come out against it. Details right on the other side.